So come to a nice tall seat. If you want to sit up on one of your pillows or books or something, you could do that. We won't be here for too long. And let your crown be to the sky. And then if you're comfortable closing your eyes, close the eyes or just soften the gaze. And just notice where you are tonight. See if there's any tension. See if you can start to release some of that tension in your face, the forehead, the jaw. See if you can unclench your jaw. Let the shoulders relax down and away from your ears. Soften in the heart space and the navel center, all the way down to the pelvic floor and the legs. And let your palms just rest heavy on the tops of the thighs. And just begin to notice the breath. You don't have to do anything to the breath, just starting to notice. And if you feel it really high in the chest, bringing it lower into the belly, right? So that high in the chest breathing is the fight or flight anxious breath. And when we do that diaphragmatic breathing, we get that more calming breath. So just starting to notice the breath without manipulating it. If it's comfortable to breathe in and out through your nose, you can do that. But if the mouth is better for you, then just breathe through the mouth. And as you breathe, I'm going to read you a John O'Donohue poem called For Solitude. May you recognize in your life the presence, power, and light of your soul. May you realize that you are never alone, that your soul in its brightness and belonging connects you intimately with the rhythm of the universe. May you have respect for your individuality and difference. May you realize that the shape of your soul is unique, that you have a special destiny here, that behind the facade of your life, there is something beautiful and eternal happening. May you learn to see yourself with the same delight, pride, and expectation with which God sees you at every moment. And just sitting with that, and if anything jumped out at you, maybe just staying with those words or that image. And seeing if you can bring a little balance to the breath, maybe counting in for the count of 4, and then exhaling for the count of 4. Almost seeing if you can just even out the breath. And when we do that, we notice that little pause at the top of the inhale, and then again at the bottom of the exhale. That little moment where nothing happens. And if it's comfortable for you, you could extend that exhale by a couple of breaths or counts. So inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. So that longer exhale helps us move deeper into relaxation. And again, as you breathe, you might notice whether your mind is moving really quickly, or maybe you're feeling sluggish or sleepy. Wherever you are tonight, we just show up as we are and accept where we are and just let yourself really relax. So I didn't really mention this. As you breathe, I'll talk. So you just keep breathing nice and smooth. Restorative is all about truly relaxing and resting. So all the poses are meant to bring you into a place where all of your body is supported. There's no tension. You're not trying to stretch anything or hold anything. It's about letting go. So my motto is always, if you're trying it all, you're doing it wrong. So we don't want to be putting any effort to like hold ourselves. So as we move through the poses, using whatever you have at home to hold yourself up, make yourself comfortable. If we get into a pose and I tell you to do something and you're like, that doesn't feel good for me, then just adjust and see how it feels right for you. So we don't ever want it to hurt. So just knowing that this is all about resting. You're not here to accomplish anything. You're just here to rest. And you can gently open the eyes, return to your regular breath. And just once you sit up tall, bring the chin down to the center of the chest and then drag it over toward the left shoulder and then back through the center to the right shoulder. So just moving slowly from side to side. You might feel that stretch from we tend to have a lot of tightness up in our shoulders and our neck. And if it feels good to just stay on one side for a couple of breaths, you could do that. And then move back to the other side. So just taking these really gentle neck movements. And then coming back to the center, sitting up tall, inhaling the shoulders up toward the ears, and then rolling them back and down. So just inhale the shoulders up and then exhale, slowly roll them down like your shoulder blades are going down. So just this really nice, gentle movement to start. And again, even though we're basically going to be laying on the ground, just doing these small movements help us kind of loosen up a little bit. And then pause and go the other way. So the shoulders go up and forward. And then you can come to a pause. Bring the right hand down to your mat. Inhale that left arm up toward the ceiling and then over. So you're feeling that big stretch up the side of the body. You could maybe look up under that arm if it feels good, or you could look straight ahead or even down at the leg. So whatever feels better for your neck. And just take a couple breaths here. It's almost like you're feeling that stretch come up out of the waist. So the hips stay grounded either on the floor or whatever you're sitting on. And then bring that hand back down, sitting tall again. And then the other side. Inhale the arm up, reach it up toward the ceiling first, and then over to the side. And maybe look up underneath that arm. Whatever feels good. Feeling that big stretch. It might feel different on this side because our sides are always different. And that's normal. Breathing. And then inhaling back up straight, bringing both hands down to the ground, just pausing for a moment here. And then bring the hands to the tops of the legs, near the knees, and we'll inhale, lift the gaze and open the heart open like a seated cow pose. And then exhale, round the shoulders, chin to chest, seated cat pose. Inhaling, the gaze lifts and it's like your collarbone spread wide. Exhaling, you round the back, chin comes toward the chest. Move like that on a few more cat cows to your own rhythm. And then come back to neutral. If you're sitting up on something, you might want to take it out. And we'll just do some hip circles. So we're just going to sit and go around in a little bit of a circle. And again, now we're just loosening up our hip joints a little. You could stay really tight to the spine and make tiny circles, or you could use your hands and kind of really get into your hip circle. So, and you could close the eyes if you'd like. You don't have to. And then pause and slowly reverse directions. And then come back around up to your neutral tall seat. So we'll move into our first of the restorative poses, which is a nice basic one. It's called Mountain Brook. So you'll want a pillow or a couple of pillows, depending on how high you like things. So I have 2 bed pillows for this. I might use only one. If you are somebody who likes to do this restorative, you can always get a yoga bolster like this online, and it's a nice thick firm way to do this. So this is going to go under your knees. So put that toward the bottom of your mat. Sadly, that's not for your head. And then we're going to take 2 of your blankets. If you have your 2 blankets, hopefully you do. If not, you can even do this just out flat on your back. So take 1 blanket and sort of fold it so you have, it's like in thirds almost. So it's like a long skinny rectangle. And that's going to go under your back, and your shoulder blades are going to be over the top of it. And then you're going to take another blanket, or you could have a little low pillow. You could use a pillow for this, just to make a roll that's going to go under your neck. So I'm going to probably have to move Buddha here because he's going to be in my way. So you'll get, when you get down on the ground, you're going to know that you need to adjust things. Oops, I see someone coming in here. Okay, so I'll show you. You can figure it out at home then and ask if you have questions. So I'm going to put my legs up on my pillows. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to try to get this little blanket under the middle section of my back so my shoulder blades are off. And then I'm going to put this little roll under my neck. And you can make it thicker if you like your head to be a little higher, or you could use a pillow. And then your arms will be out at a T. So your arms are sort of in between the neck roll and the thing that's under your back. So basically this mid-back blanket is creating a little arch in the back for like a really gentle back bend. If this doesn't feel good for you, just pull that blanket out and be flat. That's fine. So just make that adjustment. So if you don't like how that blanket feels under the back, you just make the adjustment. And we'll stay here for a few minutes. So this is the other part of restorative. If you've never done restorative, it is a long hold practice. So in a pose like this, where it's not a difficult pose to be in, we'll stay here for about 4 minutes or so, 4 more minutes. There'll be other poses where we'll actually stay a little bit longer toward the end. And the idea is that as you are in this pose, once I be quiet, you will be able to just start releasing and maybe just noticing your breathing, noticing the sounds around you, and letting yourself go. So I'll be quiet until I tell you to move. Notice the belly rising on the inhale and sinking back toward the ground on the exhale. Notice your hands. Don't clench your fists. So let the hands just naturally curl the way your hands want to when they are relaxed. And notice if your face is tensed up or your glutes or your pelvic floor. Run through those little scans as we do these poses to notice if you're gripping anywhere where you don't need to be working. Just give yourself permission to just be. Your mind starts moving around, that's normal. Just come back to the breath. If you feel fidgety, you could always count those breaths again. 4 counts in, little pause, 4 counts out, little pause. Coming back to the breath helps us move out of that sort of cycle of thought. You can begin to make some little movements with fingers and toes. Maybe roll to one side before you push yourself up to seated. So with restorative, we also want to move slowly and mindfully in between the poses so that we don't just race from one thing to the other. So take your time, roll to the side, give yourself a chance to kind of wake up from that pose, and then gently push yourself back up to a seat. So our next restorative pose will be a side lying stretch. So you still need your 2 pillows or 1 pillow or bolster, whatever feels good for you. You'll need a blanket for maybe between the knees when I show you, and then either a block or your book or a throw pillow for your head. So I'm going to lay my body over these pillows. So my head's going to be on the other side this time. So basically the different poses are sort of like, right, what we do in regular yoga, which is to move the spine in its different directions. So we just did this gentle back bend. Now we're going to do this very gentle lateral stretch. So you kind of bring the pillows, your hip right up against the pillows or your bolster. And you have your knees sort of a little bit of a pinwheel here. And you could put the blanket between the knees so that they don't bang together. And then you're going to stretch your torso over those pillows. The arm comes out, and then either a pillow under the head, or for me, I'm going to use a block or a book. A book might be a little hard, but you can see what feels right. Or you could take a book and put a blanket on it. So just something that holds your head up so your head's not dropping down. And so this arm is resting, the body's over this. If you have a short torso, you might need only one pillow or a small pillow or even a blanket. So now once you're here, and we'll be here just a shorter time this time, the arm that's on top can either lay on your side or on your bolster, or some people like the feeling of a bigger stretch, so you could take that arm and bring it over your head. But if you're going to do that, you want it resting on a pillow or a book or a block so it's not hanging out there. So again, you never want a piece of you just hanging in midair where it has to work. So the idea of restorative is that there's always something supporting the pieces of you. So either a book, a block, whatever you have that could go under that arm so that your arm's not just hanging in the midair. So you get to this position and then you may need to make adjustments. Somebody might want a pillow between the knees to make it even a thicker pad. And then I'll just let you know when we're going to move. And when it's time to move, we'll do this on the other side. But for now, we just get this nice gentle stretch in the side with this nice gentle curve of the spine. Coming back to the breath, unclenching the jaw, unfurrow the brow. No worries. Nowhere to go. Breathing. Gently deepen your breath. And if your arm is over your head, bring it back down alongside you. And then just begin to slowly push yourself up from the pillow. Take the blanket out or pillow out from between the knees. And then we'll come to sit with just our back to the pillow, lean the hands back, and just windshield wiper your legs a few times, just to loosen things up before we do the other side. And then it's the same thing, but in the on the other side of the body. So whatever hip you didn't do the last time, we'll turn it. So I'll have my back to you right now. Your hip is against that bolster or pillows. You find the blanket or pillow that you need for between the knees. Laying over the bolster or pillows so that the arm is out in the middle. And then something under the head. And then deciding if you want that arm resting on your side, or if you'd like that to go over the head and rest on a pillow or a block. So find which feels good for you. It may feel different on this side, so make any adjustments. And again, our bodies are all different. So for some people, they like that bolster to be higher. And for people who have the shorter torso, they want it to be flatter so that they're not working to stretch over it. So you just, I can't see all of you, so you just make adjustments based on what feels right for your body. Remembering to come back to your breath anytime the mind gets busy. Again, just gently begin to bring your awareness back to the body. If the arm is extended over the head, bring it gently back down alongside you, and then use it to help push yourself up gently to a seat. And if you like, you could windshield wiper the legs, or just come around to a tall seat or whatever version of a seat you would like at this point. Our next pose that we'll move into is a supported child's pose. So it's just like the child's pose you're used to doing, except we're going to have it be nice and cozy. So you're going to want your bolster or your pillows. They're going to be under your belly and your chest. If your floor is hard and you want something under your ankles, sometimes it feels nice to take like a little bit of a blanket or a little roll in a blanket to put where the ankles will land. So see, I've got my ankles on top of that roll here, and then I'm going to actually pull the pillows so they're pretty close to the tops of to the edges of my thighs, and sit up really tall before I begin to lean over this. Now that might be too low for you. If that's the case, take another one of your pillows. You could even put, if you have your blocks, you could put them underneath this to make it higher. So I'll show you, in case anybody has the other props and has more that they can do. If you needed to make that higher, you could take your books or your blocks, put it underneath the pillow to make the pillow come up higher to you. So now you don't have to lay down so far. And then that same thing, kind of extending nice and tall first, and then laying over your bolster or your pillows. Once you get there, pick one side of your face to lay down on the pillow. And I will let you know when it's time to turn to the other side. The arms can just be laying on the ground or resting with you on the pillow, but just make sure they're not just like your hands aren't just hanging out somewhere. Try to loosen up the shoulders, let the shoulders relax, let the butt and the hips relax so you're not all tensed up somewhere. So this gives you some nice gentle pressure on the belly. And now we're bending the spine right in the other way. We're curling it the other direction again. You can gently turn your head to the other side. And just give the neck a chance to stretch in the other direction. Making sure we release the jaw and the tension in the brow. Letting go of those places where we're trying to hold on. Begin to wake yourself up here. Gently bring the head back to neutral and push up onto hands and knees. So your little pillow fort might fall down. That's okay. Once you get to hands and knees, do a few tabletop cow cat moves. So inhale the belly low and lift your gaze up. And then exhale, push the mat away, chin to the chest, arch the back up. So do a few of those if those feel good for you, to just sort of wake the spine up again, loosen it up after being in that position for a little bit. And then come back to neutral, come back to a seat. We're going to set up for our last of the main restorative poses before we do our rest and then go into the Yoga Nidra. So this one is the trickiest one to set up, especially with non-yoga props. So we'll have to be a little creative. So we need to make basically a ramp with our pillows. So um, you don't want them to be completely flat. You want them to be a little raised. So you could take a throw pillow or a couple of your books and put it underneath to make a little bit of a ramp. I could take the blocks and do that. Or you could take, like I said, more pillows, more blankets. You could use the blankets to do that too. You want to get a little bit of a ramp, but you also want to have something to go under the edges of your legs when we lay down. So that needs to either be blocks, books, blankets, pillows, whatever you have on hand. So for this one, you're going to sit with your tailbone right at the edge of that ramp of pillows. And you can watch me while I set up. Once we lay ourselves back onto the little ramp, we take the soles of the feet, put them together so the knees come out wide. You use either books or pillows or blankets to hold the knees up. And then you notice, is your head hanging back? Mine is. So I'm going to need a blanket underneath my head because you don't want your neck hanging back up off the pillows. Once you get the body figured out, and that can take a little bit, so it's okay. This one takes some time to set up. I'm not even involving the strap. We dropped the strap for tonight. So there's a whole step beyond this that we could do if we had all the props. So basically, we're just going to let the spine, the back rest on our little ramp of pillows. The edges of the legs are going to rest on the blankets, blocks, whatever you're using. And then the arms, almost like you're taking your hands across your collarbones, opening them out to the side and letting the arms come down to the ground, so that the backs of the hands are just sort of resting on the ground and loose. Again, if you wanted to, you could take pillows and put them underneath or blankets. So depends on how many blankets and pillows you packed for this expedition. So if you have a lot, you can really kind of hold up everything. Once you get here, close the eyes, unclench the jaw, relax everything from the head all the way down to the feet. And this is our longer hold. So we'd be here a little bit longer than the last one. Notice the heart open to the sky, the palms up, the legs relaxing, no effort. Begin to make some little movement in the fingers. Bring the hands to the edges of the legs and help them bring the knees back together. Maybe stretch the legs out long. Roll the ankles a little bit if that would feel good. And then gently roll to the side and push yourself up really slowly to a seat. And we'll kind of move some of those props out of the way. So we'll be coming into our final resting pose, so Shavasana. So you can decide how you want to do the pose where we're going to be for a long time. So I'll do Yoga Nidra, so it'll be for at least 20 minutes. So make sure you're super cozy. So if it's chilly where you are, use a blanket to cover yourself. You could have a pillow under your head. You could have pillows under your knees. So you're just going to lay on your back and be as comfortable as you want to be on your back. So pillows under the knees sometimes help, especially if your back is a little cranky. You could have a blanket or something under the head. You might want to put a blanket over you to stay warm. But once you get there, settle into that space, and we'll stay there for a couple of minutes in quiet before I start leading you through the Yoga Nidra. It'll give you a chance to sort of settle and to notice, like almost notice, like, is the seam of your shirt bothering you, or is there something crumpled underneath you, and really get those little kinks out before we settle in. So just come down to this nice resting position. Palms up if that's comfortable for you, to lay with your arms alongside you and the palms up. Let the feet just sort of splay out to wherever they go naturally. And just settle in for this really, Yoga Nidra is yogic sleep. So it is really a very restful body scan. I'll lead you through a scan of your body and then some other guided meditation pieces. So all you have to do is listen to my voice. So now that you've made yourself comfortable, try to stay in this position for the duration of our practice, if you can. But if you're uncomfortable or you need to move, then you should do that. Let your eyes close if you're comfortable doing that, or soften your gaze. And try to keep the eyes closed till the end of the practice. Try to remain awake by listening to the sound of my voice. Try not to concentrate too intensely. Just listen and let the words go. If you fall asleep, that's okay. Use and absorb what you need at the moment and leave the rest behind. If your mind is overactive, just come back to the sound of my voice. Start to become aware of the sounds that you hear. Don't strain to hear anything, but just start to focus on every sound around you. Focus on the most distant sounds you hear. Let your senses of hearing radiate outward. Seek out the most distant sounds and follow them for a few moments. Move your attention from sound to sound. Don't label the source. Just explore the sensation. Gradually bring your attention to sounds closer to you. What do you hear just outside the room or building where you are? What do you hear inside the building? What do you hear inside your room? Without opening your eyes, visualize the room you are in. Visualize the four walls and the ceiling. Notice the floor and visualize your body lying on the floor. See your body and notice the position of your body. Visualize your clothes, hair, face. Become aware of your physical body. Feel yourself existing on the floor. Begin to become aware of your natural breath, your natural and spontaneous breath. It moves in and out of your body, and it takes hardly any effort. Feel your breath flow in through your nostrils. Notice the feeling of your breath as it comes out of your nostrils. Do you sense the coolness of the inhale? Follow that feeling. Follow it into your nose and your sinuses, to the back of your throat, and into your lungs. Feel the sense of warmth as you exhale. The warmth on your upper lip as you breathe out. This natural breath flows through your nostrils. You can feel it in each inhale and exhale. Allow the breath to become longer and slower. Take a long, slow inhalation. Then follow it with a longer, slower exhale. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. Even take a slight pause after the exhale. So you slowly inhale and exhale even slower. Tiny pause. And then inhale again. Continue to breathe a long, slow inhale and a longer, slower exhale for a couple of more breaths. Now return to your natural, easy breath. We will begin a systematic journey of our sensory awareness, exploring various parts of the body. Move your awareness to these body parts as you hear them. When you hear them, repeat the name mentally to yourself. Feel that part of the body, but don't move any part. The practice will begin on your right side. Right hand thumb. Second finger. Third finger. Fourth finger. Fifth finger. Palm of the hand. Back of the hand. Wrist. Forearm. Elbow. Upper arm. Right shoulder. Armpit. Right side of the waist. Right hip. Thigh. Knee. Calf. Ankle. Heel. Sole of the foot. top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Now you bring your awareness to your left side. Left hand thumb. Second finger. Third finger. Fourth finger. Palm of the hand. Back of the hand. Wrist. Forearm. Elbow. Upper arm. Left shoulder. Armpit. Left side of the waist. Left hip. Thigh. Knee. Calf. Ankle. Heel. Sole of the foot. Top of the foot. Left big toe. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. Fifth toe. Now bring your awareness to the back of your body. Right heel. Left heel. Left calf. Right calf. Right thigh. Left thigh. Right buttock. Left buttock. Lower back. Middle back. Upper back. The entire spine. Right shoulder blade. Left shoulder blade. Back of the neck. Back of the head. Now bring your awareness to the top of your head. Forehead. Right temple. Left temple. Right ear. Left ear. Right eyebrow. Left eyebrow. Middle of the eyebrows. Right eye. Left eye. Right nostril. Left nostril. Right cheek. Left cheek. Upper lip. Lower lip. Both lips together. Chin. Jaw. Throat. Right collarbone. Left collarbone. Right side of the chest. Left side of the chest. Center of the chest. Upper abdomen. Navel. Lower abdomen. Right groin. Left groin. The pelvic floor. The whole right leg. The whole left leg. The whole right arm. The whole left arm. The whole face. The whole head. The whole torso. The whole body. The whole body. The whole body. Concentrate now on the space in front of your closed eyelids, as if it were a transparent screen and you were seeing it at a movie theater. The screen is as high and as wide as your eyes can see. Concentrate on this mental screen. You may be aware of colors, patterns, beams of light. Practice detached awareness. Don't be involved. Notice whatever is there on this screen in your mind without holding on. Now I will name a number of different things, and you should envision them on every level. They can be created from your imagination or rooted in memory. And as I name them, you just move from one thing to another. Red desert, peacock feather, a good night's rest, the full moon, a reflection in the mirror, foggy morning, bouquet of flowers, a tall tree, receiving help from others, cool, clear water, a relaxing afternoon, laughing with friends, a warm embrace, a burning candle, a path in the woods, a vibrant sunset, taking a deep breath, a cat stretching, a beautiful garden path, a favorite song, the sound of my voice, your body lying on the floor. Come back to the feeling of breath flowing in and out of your nostrils. Begin to develop an awareness of your physical body. Feel yourself relaxed and lying on the floor. Feel the container of your skin. Feel your clothes. Feel the props and blankets and pillows that are touching you. Notice the heaviness of your body. Feel it resting on the floor. Take awareness of all the points of your body that are touching the floor. Maybe the back of your heels, your thighs, your hips, your shoulder blades, your arms, your hands, your head. Without opening your eyes, visualize the room you are in again. See yourself in your mind's eye, in your place in the room. Imagine the other objects around you in that room. Begin to slowly open your senses to the sounds you hear around you again. Sounds in the room, sounds outside of the room or outside of your home. Lie there quietly, noticing your breath. And when you are ready, start to make some little movements with your fingers and toes. Taking your time, not rushing, no hurry. Maybe gently rock your head from side to side. And when you feel ready, roll gently onto your right side and stay there for a few moments. Just resting and letting everything soften toward the ground. Maybe using your right arm as a little pillow under your head, whatever feels comfortable. And I'll read our poem one more time while you rest there. May you recognize in your life the presence, power, and light of your soul. May you realize that you are never alone, that your soul in its brightness and belonging connects you intimately with the rhythm of the universe. May you have respect for your individuality and difference. May you realize that the shape of your soul is unique, that you have a special destiny here, that behind the facade of your life, there is something beautiful and eternal happening. May you learn to see yourself with the same delight, pride, and expectation with which God sees you at every moment. And when you are ready, you can gently push yourself up to a seat, taking your time, and slowly come back up to that nice tall seat. Bring our hands to heart center if you're comfortable doing that, or over the heart. Maybe bow the head just a little bit. Give yourself some gratitude for taking time to rest and restore and just be for just a little while in this busy, crazy world of ours. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, and peace on our very troubled planet. Namaste.